Hey, how's it going out there? Hey, I had a rough day last Saturday. Had trouble getting fuel to my motor, and I was about a mile out. Kicked the trolling motor down, get back to the marina, and it started making some pretty bad noise. But it did get me there, so that's a good thing. Got home, tore it down, and I had seen a slight crack. That's a magnet that goes inside the motor. And I had abused this motor. It's a long story. I melted the transducer, all self-inflicted. But hey, I went online, I ordered a new shaft and motor assembly from Johnson Motors, and they had it to me on Thursday. This is Friday, so you know, they really took care of me on this deal. Of course, I had to pay for it and all. But today we're going to show you how to install the new motor and shaft assembly on my Minn Kota Terrova. Right, so first thing let's make sure we got the power unplugged. And we do. Got it off. And what we got to do first, we got to take this head assembly off. So we got two bigger wires here that are covered by these blue insulation blankets. We'll go ahead and pull those apart. And they're color coded, so we don't need to mark them. Then you got the ground wire that goes down to the head, and I've had this apart before, so it comes with heat shrink on it, but I put electrical tape back on it. I may go back with heat shrink. All right, we're going to unplug that. That gets all our wires to go down through there disconnected. Now on yours, if you've got a transducer, you've probably got another cable in here that you would need to disconnect as well. And on the head itself, there's a Phillips head screw that runs all the way through it. You got to take that off. Get it pulled all the way out. You got to slide this head off the shaft. All right, take that off. Then we'll guide the wires out. Now you don't need to disconnect these wires, they can just stay on. Alright. Then go ahead, slide this off. And if you notice, I have an external transducer here, so we got to go ahead and get it off of there. And this head on this, it's a 55-pound thrust. Is just exactly the wrong size for this transducer. So I can put one clamp on it like I've got here, and then I've got to use a tie wrap around the backside. I don't trust it with just the one clamp. Like I say, I'm pretty hard on it. I might be known to run through some brush from now and again. Okay, if you notice what I got here, that's just a rod sock, and I wrap it around the shaft about 3 times. Seems to work out pretty good. Take and unwrap this and set it off to the side. If you do this with the rod sock, tie wrap that right here, so otherwise it'll come down in the water and give you all kinds of havoc. But don't put the tie wrap around the cable. Just poke a hole in the rod sock and run it through there so that cable can slide up and down. There's a lift assist on the Terrova. And for what we're doing today, we don't need to completely disassemble it, but I'm gonna warn you, this has a lot of tension on it. So if you were changing out the turning motor or something like that, you gotta be really careful and keep your hands out of the way. So there's 4 Phillips head screws in this. We're gonna go ahead and take it apart. Comes off that half, and this half will stay on it. Right, and now we should be able to just slide the shaft off. All right, And there we go, there's the old one. I've already pulled the armature out of it. But now I got some spare parts anyway, right? And then we got to feed the wires up through here. Remember which way that lift assist tape is and which way the groove is in the shaft so you can get those lined up. Well, that was pretty easy. Let's go ahead and put our lift assist knob back together. And if you look, see how that's grooved? So it's got to fit in there the right way. You know, it almost feels like for what it costs for one of these, it ought to take a little longer or be harder, right? You're going to spend that much money on it. We'll go ahead and put the transducer back on. The audio's probably a little worse now. I had to kick my fans on. It was getting real hot in here. Kick the door open. So when you're putting a tie wrap on a transducer, you don't want to get it real tight. Just snug it up. This clamshell's got grooves in it, so a tie wrap will fit in there real nice. Okay, pull this out a little bit. Looks about right. And it's kind of ugly, but it works well. Okay, so now we just need to reassemble the head and put the prop on. All right, so now it's time to go ahead and assemble the top part here. We'll go ahead, first we'll put this on. And then now the control head for the black box part of it, it does have a quick disconnect, but since I'm changing this on the boat, I really don't need to remove it. Go ahead and put our bolt back in. And this nut, it sits in a pocket back in here. Get it good and tight. Now's a good time to check that fuse. It's a little 3-amp fuse that's in here. You can pull it out and check it visually if you'd like. And if you didn't know that, on the backs of these fuses, they're exposed, so you don't have to pull them out to put a meter on them. Yep, it's good. Now at this time I could go ahead and put the heat shrink on there and get ready to do that. Right, so we got a small piece of heat shrink. We'll slip that over, make sure it's fully inserted. The reason I'm doing this first is I want to keep that heat gun as far away as I can from the other wires. Black to black, we'll go ahead and plug those in. Slip the insulating sleeve over it. Red to red. If you notice, I put a few twists in there. It comes that way from the factory. Now again, with yours, you may have to go ahead and connect that transducer cable also. Now, if you've never put these screws in, they are kind of a pain. They're at a weird angle. Now let's go ahead and put the prop on. And you got to put the prop on before you try it because it's got that shipping bracket on it. All right, so let's go ahead and put the prop on now. So hold the shipping spacer. You're going to hold that with your hand. You don't want it turning. And go ahead and take the nut off and read this paper, because it'll tell you the red shipping washer, you want to throw it away, and the shipping spacer, you want to throw it away. The rest of the hardware you can go ahead and use. So you got a brand new pin there. Okay, nice and smooth. All right, hindsight being 2020, I wished I'd left the top of the unit off just so when I plug it in and everything I could check it. But I didn't, so we'll go ahead and plug it in. Oh, look at that. That is on 1.5. So hey guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next. Enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe. Let's get out on the water and have a great day.